If you ask me, looking closely at the upcoming events for the week of June 29th to July 3rd, we are staring at a dangerously deadlocked chessboard. Every single piece is trapped in a suffocating corner, and one wrong move could trigger an unforeseen fallout that leaves the entire town in ashes. There are no safe havens left for anyone. We are witnessing an absolute masterclass in manipulation, where the psychological motive behind every fleeting glance, every whispered secret, um, and every hidden agenda could literally mean the difference between life and death. The stakes have never been higher, and I want to break down exactly how this intricate, lethal puzzle might fall into place over the coming days. Let us start by analyzing Cullum and the terrifying, unchecked power he now holds in his hands. Receiving that highly classified report from Cassius, who we all know is deceptively masquerading under the fake Nathan identity, shifts the balance of power entirely in the wrong direction. This new intelligence makes Cullum's mission infinitely more dangerous and unpredictable. It looks like he finally has the missing puzzle pieces he needs to execute his ultimate endgame. But what does this mean for the innocent victims caught in his crosshairs? Down in the dark, damp, unforgiving cells, Jocelyn and Liesel are still being held against their will, completely isolated from the outside world. Interestingly, these two strong-willed women, who normally would never see eye to eye under normal circumstances, are gradually finding common ground. This bonding is a classic, desperate survival tactic when faced with unimaginable terror. Could it be that Cullum plans to use this new intelligence to permanently eliminate his prisoners, rendering them useless to his grand scheme? If he no longer needs them for leverage, Jocelyn and Liesel might be facing their final, terrifying hours. In Scenario A, their newfound alliance would merely be a tragic, heartbreaking final bonding experience before Cullum executes a ruthless, calculated move to silence them forever, ensuring no witnesses are left behind. However, we must consider Scenario B. This implies that the report Cassius handed over was actually a highly sophisticated, deliberate piece of misinformation designed to send Cullum on a wild, distracting goose chase. If Cassius retains even a microscopic shred of humanity or guilt regarding his deceptive actions, he might be trying to buy Jocelyn and Liesel the exact precious window of time they need to orchestrate a miraculous, daring escape. By feeding Cullum false data, Cassius could be secretly orchestrating an ulterior motive to sabotage the operation from the inside out, hoping that the captives can break free before Cullum realizes he has been expertly played. Meanwhile, we absolutely have to talk about Sonny. The seasoned, battle-hardened mob boss finds himself unwittingly lured into a meticulously orchestrated, highly lethal trap. You guys know Sonny. He has survived decades of ambushes, betrayals, and near-death experiences, but this particular setup feels uniquely personal and incredibly dangerous. However, immediately after miraculously dodging this lethal bullet and escaping the immediate danger, Sonny drops a bombshell revelation that could fundamentally alter the entire landscape of this ongoing bloody war. The sheer magnitude of what he reveals is guaranteed to send shockwaves through every single faction currently fighting for control. In Scenario A, it looks like Sonny's shocking revelation exposes a deep, unforgivable betrayal from within his own trusted inner circle, creating a shattered trust that forces his closest allies to violently turn on one another. This internal fracturing would leave him isolated but fiercely, unpredictably dangerous. Alternatively, in Scenario B, could it be that Sonny is entirely fabricating this truth? Perhaps this shocking revelation is nothing more than a brilliant psychological motive designed to strike paralyzing fear into the hearts of his enemies. By planting a massive, unshakable seed of doubt, Sonny might be executing a masterfully calculated move to make his adversaries destroy themselves from the inside out. Over in the sophisticated, yet incredibly cold art world, the underlying tension between Ava and Ethan is rapidly reaching a violent boiling point. Ava is relentlessly confronting Ethan over the dark, damaging secrets he has been desperately trying to keep buried in the shadows. We all know that Ethan possesses a highly cunning, manipulative nature, but Ava is an absolute master of exploiting leverage and sniffing out weakness. The dynamic between these two is a fascinating study in power, control, and mutual destruction, as they circle each other like predators waiting for the perfect moment to strike a fatal blow. In Scenario A, it looks like Ava will successfully, ruthlessly corner Ethan, using his carefully hidden truths to force him into serving her own selfish agenda. She might effectively turn him into her personal, unwilling pawn in the larger, town-wide war. But consider Scenario B. This implies that Ethan actually wanted Ava to discover these specific secrets all along. What if this entire confrontation is his calculated move to draw Ava into a dangerously false sense of security? He might be allowing her to believe she has won the battle, only to spring a much deadlier, inescapable trap when she least expects it, revealing his true ulterior motive. And speaking of explosive, life-altering confrontations, Carly is about to go on an absolute, unstoppable rampage. She accidentally overhears a crucial, highly sensitive conversation that flips a violent switch in her mind. We all know that a fiercely protective, enraged Carly is a terrifying force of nature that cannot be reasoned with. Simultaneously, Lucas is left completely paralyzed and emotionally devastated by a shocking confession that rocks his entire worldview. The sheer emotional weight of these dual revelations is going to send violent ripples through their entire family structure, testing loyalties and breaking bonds. Could it be, in scenario A, that Carly overheard the undeniable, concrete proof that Cassius is the fake Nathan, and that he is directly, undeniably responsible for kidnapping Jocelyn? If so, her resulting rampage will be a relentless bloodbath of vengeance, leaving Lucas utterly devastated by the sheer, unavoidable, collateral damage of her wrath. In scenario B, it looks like the confession Lucas hears might actually be the very catalyst for Carly's blinding rage. If Lucas learns that someone they deeply, unconditionally trusted has been secretly working with Cullum all along, the resulting unforeseen fallout will tear their family apart forever, leaving behind nothing but shattered trust. Then there is the deeply tragic, agonizing saga of Britt. She continues to spiral downward into a terrifying vortex of massive, inescapable trouble. With her physical health rapidly deteriorating due to her condition and the long arm of the law closing in from all sides, she finds herself backed against a seemingly insurmountable wall. The sheer desperation of her situation might force her to make the ultimate, heartbreaking sacrifice and return to Port Charles to finally face the music, knowing full well that doing so could mean spending her final, precious days locked behind cold steel bars. In scenario A, Britt's potential return is a genuine, defeated surrender, a desperate, tearful plea for medical and legal salvation before her illness claims her life completely in the unforgiving wilderness. It would be a tragic end to her run for freedom. However, in scenario B, this implies that Britt has a deeply hidden ulterior motive for coming back. Could it be that she has meticulously gathered enough damning dirt while on the run to burn her enemies to the ground? She might be using her apparent surrender as a brilliant Trojan horse, a calculated move to infiltrate and completely destroy Cullum's extensive criminal network from the inside. Let us pivot to the tense atmosphere of the police station, where the dramatic irony is absolutely suffocating. Willow struts into the precinct with total, unwavering confidence, firmly and naively believing in her own complete innocence regarding the tragic hit-and-run accident. She is entirely, stubbornly convinced that Justine is the malicious force leading the unjust witch hunt against her. She has absolutely no idea, not even a lingering suspicion, that Brooke Lynn is the true, cold-blooded puppet master silently and expertly tightening the legal noose around her neck. In scenario A, it looks like Brooke Lynn's meticulously calculated move will execute flawlessly, resulting in Willow being formally, publicly charged and locked away, completely oblivious to the identity of the person who actually ruined her life. It would be a masterstroke of deception. But in scenario B, could it be that Willow's blind, arrogant confidence triggers a massive, unforeseen fallout? If the fabricated evidence is pushed too hard under intense scrutiny, the investigative spotlight might accidentally, disastrously swing back onto Brooke Lynn, exposing her highly malicious framing plot to the entire judgmental town. Meanwhile, Nina is helplessly watching this terrifying legal nightmare unfold for her daughter, and she is spiraling into an absolute, uncontrollable panic. Her maternal instincts are screaming as Willow stands on the terrifying brink of losing her freedom, her family, and her entire future. In scenario A, Nina's blinding panic drives her to make a reckless, highly illegal move to destroy the evidence, which ultimately, tragically, backfires, and lands both her and Willow in, even deeper, inescapable peril. In scenario B, Nina's maternal desperation could fuel a dark psychological motive to completely destroy Brooke Lynn's life in ruthless retaliation, creating a cycle of endless vengeance. On a quieter yet equally tense and deeply emotional front, Anna is desperately trying to untangle the complex, maddening mystery of the fake Nathan for Emma. Emma, however, remains deeply, stubbornly skeptical, questioning every single piece of logic and evidence Anna presents. The generational divide and the sheer absurdity of the twin theory make it a nearly impossible sell. Despite this frustrating, exhausting roadblock, Anna is slated to receive something highly significant by the end of the week that fills her with immense, overwhelming gratitude, providing a rare glimmer of hope in the darkness. In scenario A, it looks like Anna finally uncovers the undeniable, concrete proof of Cassius's true, deceptive identity, giving her the exact, irrefutable ammunition she needs to convince her skeptical family and take the imposter down once and for all. It would be a massive victory for the truth. But in scenario B, could it be that the thing Anna is so deeply grateful for is actually a secret coded message from a presumed dead ally? This would suggest a massive ulterior motive in her ongoing investigation, shifting her intense focus from merely exposing the fake Nathan to dismantling a much larger, incredibly dangerous global conspiracy. Finally, the heartbreaking cycle of generational trauma continues as Charlotte makes a highly telling, emotional decision. Instead of seeking comfort from Nina, she bravely reaches out to Lulu for help. This poignant choice speaks absolute volumes about the completely shattered trust between Charlotte and her former mother figure. At the exact same time, Lulu and Dante are fighting a grueling, exhausting uphill battle to shield young Rocco from the toxic, far-reaching, and highly dangerous influence of Cullum, who seems determined to corrupt everything he touches. In scenario A, it looks like Charlotte's desperate plea for help will inadvertently provide Lulu and Dante with the missing crucial link they need to finally neutralize Cullum's looming threat, securing Rocco's safety once and for all. But in scenario B, this implies that Cullum's dark influence has already seeped far too deep into Rocco's fragile psyche. If you ask me, guys, we are hurtling toward a devastating climax where no one is going to walk away clean. I highly doubt anyone is truly ready for the checkmate that is about to drop on Port Charles. We will just have to wait and see how this explosive week unfolds.